RPN is not responsible for the views, actions, statements, or opinions of its guests or advertisers or the viewers. The information on this program is not to be construed as medical or legal advice, and any appearance on this show is not necessarily an endorsement. But as always, we encourage you to do your own research. Enjoy the show. Good evening, everyone. You're listening to Red Pill 78. As always, I am Zak, the Corruption Detector, and this is another edition of Red Pill News for Friday Night Livestream. Joining me tonight is Canadian Patriot, Jurgen Vollrath. We are going to be talking about the culture war and the toll it's taken on both of our countries, but in Jurgen's perspective specifically and uniquely, the Canadian condition. Do me a favor, guys. Please remember to like and share this broadcast. Help us break through the algorithm. And I see somebody says I need to call BCP. Is BCP okay? I'll get a hold of him. All right, gang. Do me a favor. Sit back, relax, grab your popcorn, and we'll be right back after a brief word from our sponsor. When you see what's going on in our country right now, there are plenty of reasons to be concerned. Social unrest is making life very uncomfortable, and it could quickly get worse. On top of that, a second wave of CV-19 through the Dem agenda is threatening to devastate our economy and our way of life. Are we going to have severe food shortages this time? Will supply chains get cut off if people can't work? What if we can't go to the grocery store anymore? Well, these are realistic dangers, so don't let yourself be unprepared. Here's what to do right now. Go to preparewithredpill78.com and start building your emergency food supply. The experts at My Patriot Supply are the only people I use and trust, and you can too. And right now you can save $100 off a full 4-week supply of delicious, nutritious meals the whole family will love. My Patriot Supply makes it easy to be prepared at all times, and saving $100 off a life-saving 4-week supply of food is too good an opportunity to pass up, because the second half of 2020 is going to be wild. Go to preparewithredpill78.com and get ready now. That's preparewithredpill78.com. Do it now, because when you support my sponsors, you support this channel. All right, guys, thanks for sticking around. Good evening, Patriots. It is my pleasure to have you here this evening. I really appreciate everybody showing up. We have had many Canadian viewers ever since I started the program, and a lot of times I hear people, in the chat, they send me emails, they say, please, Zak, you got to do a show on Canada. And when my friend Jurgen here reached out to me a couple of months ago, I said, this is an opportunity not only to highlight the issues taking place in Canada, but to make it more obvious to the people of America, because I don't know that many people here in America are paying attention to Canadian politics in the same way that the Canadians are paying attention to ours. So please join me in welcoming to the program my guest this evening, Jurgen Vollrath. Jurgen, how are you tonight?
Well, hi, Zak. I'm great. Thank you so much for having me on the program. I'm delighted to be with you. I'm delighted to be able to share some of my thoughts and opinions on Canada and our relationship with the United States of America. We have always had a dynamic relationship, whether it be through the political spectrum or through personal relationships that we all have with friends in your country and our country. It's this interwoven fabric of society that we've had here. So what I'd like to do tonight is perhaps highlight the similarities that we have and the perceptions that have been put out there. And one of the first things I'd like to do, and I read it to you before, perhaps you'd allow me to read it again. I prepared something for the show, right? To show that we're all on the same page. I'd like to read this. So for the audience, thanks, Zach. You know, in both of our countries, we always vote for people chosen based on their connection with the will of the people. They find the pulse of the public, they choose a few issues, and then they ram their talking points in a way and they try to get us to vote for them. If one side fails, then in the next cycle we kick them out because the other side jumps on the issues that were denied. One thing remains the same, and that is consistent failure to live up to people's expectations. That's the same thing no matter where we are, United Kingdom, Canada, the United States, it's everywhere, it's the same. Negativity rules. We're already sort of put in a dark place because we're voting for the lesser of two evils, so they say, so it rules the day. You've got negativity and evil already. There's nothing positive about it. And that's the one common consistency no matter what or who is in charge. It's a vicious circle that must be broken. We are inundated with lies, misinformation, and propaganda, and the great majority have lost their ability to use reason and logic. Common sense has been replaced by political correctness. Males have been turned into beta males constantly, and strong men are rejected. Women are told they don't need men as other genders are readily available. We have drag queen story hour, and the great majority of children are not able to write properly or do math. We have abortions as being popular, and euthanasia is rising in all of our countries. White people are now admonished for their skin color. More division is created daily. We have recent new ones due to this pandemic. Thank you very much. Masks or no masks, essential, non-essential. Oh, and the biggie, vax or no vax. And the other one, of course, there's four actually. Societal, what do you call it, social distancing or no social distancing, right? We have diabetics pay for care while junkies are given free access here in Canada. We have a system where parents no longer allow time with their children. They have to work, and pay taxes through the nose as they get indoctrinated into some kind of gender twilight zone that denies science. The only good science, we're told, is government paid for findings. Other scientists in the private world are denied and rejected, just like doctors. Much like conservative women are rejected by the left, especially the feminist left. And successful black conservatives are all called Uncle Toms. It's disgusting. Our children are forced to watch depravity as grown men dress in drag and children lie on them. They are told they can be the opposite sex before they know the alphabet, while mommy and daddy are told this is progressive. They set up warriors to fail with faulty and outdated equipment while paying for sex change operations, yet not paying for prosthetics to those who sacrifice. Left, right, it doesn't matter. The rainbow is now associated with a group of alphabet warriors determined to undermine the natural evolution of mankind, where family comes from a petri dish and love between a man and a woman are considered passé. The people we put in positions of power do the bidding of those above them, so no matter who we elect, their platform before elections is never what happens after, with usually some minor exceptions. Prime Minister Trudeau declares Canada a post-national state almost immediately on being elected, but had never spoken a word of this massive shift in Canadian identity before the election. Before the election, Canadians were a tolerant, understanding, and caring people. We were told that by every politician of every stripe since time immemorial until 2015. Now, all of a sudden, Canada is a hotbed of racism. Canada had no Antifa, Canada had no BLM before 2015, but nobody pays attention to that. Justin Trudeau declared that we're a pan-gender society. Need I remind people that Pan is the god of treachery and debauchery? Now we find out that PMs, Hollywood elites, royalty, lawyers, judges, police, prosecutors, all possibly involved in child sex trafficking on a massive scale with billions of dollars in profit for Satan-worshipping pedophiles. There I said it, somebody has to. Now we see our PM seemingly under house arrest, pretending all is well while the globalist media in Canada begs for more cash. Another charity, the We Charity, Regale to Children, of which we already have 40,000 in Canada, gets almost $1 billion from Trudeau, only to learn that they pay the whole family outrageous speaking fees. Theo Fleury, who's a conservative, was told that no one gets paid to speak at We charitable events. This is psychological warfare and torture of the populace on a massive global scale, so they can continue to hide in their ultra-modern submarines on secluded private islands. They get us to believe there is no God while they worship the God of darkness. We are sold a secular school system only to allow radical Islam to enter the halls of education. Censorship for Christianity abounds, which build this country. And yet there's an elevation of cultural divide. You have to wear a helmet in Canada, but you over there, you don't have to. It's crazy. We will take your hunting rifles as gun crimes escalate in the city until unity is rebuffed, while diversity is sold as strength. And if we kill them, they win, as every child gets a trophy, no matter the effort. But the majority care not, as their idols are placed upon unearned pedestals. The majority issues forced on us by the current administration in Canada is the perfect example, as no one mentioned before the election that borders would be wide open or our oil and gas industry would be completely dismantled and destroyed and all of our money poured into UN interests. Patriots gathered by the thousands on the Hill July the 1st and marched to the U.S. Embassy with major crimes against our rulers, denied complete access by the mainstream media, while riots in our cities by BLM are exalted. A pandemic is here now, and we are led by a gender-specifically chosen group of double agents that care not for our well-being, only that they follow the rules of the post-national state run by the UN that do not care for the interests of Canadians. Welcome to the New World Order. Canadians are deeply in it, and they had best realize that our only chance to survive this resides in the White House right now. The only thing that has kept Canada from becoming China West in previous decades is the powerful US Constitution and Canada's proximity to America. That's my diatribe. That's my rant.
Jurgen, you nailed it. You absolutely 100% nailed it. I mean, you, in a brief 3 to 5 minutes, you summed up every issue that is plaguing both of our countries right now, and it's all clearly the result of this culture war that they've been bringing upon us in order to reshape Western society and in order to completely dismantle everything that we've been able to build over the last couple of 100 years. Now you mentioned a number of things about Trudeau in there. I remember when Trudeau was elected, he was almost an Obama-like cult of personality type figure. There was not much known about him. His father, we knew his father had previously been prime minister, so that was a good reason why Trudeau would make a good prime minister, they said. He was young, he was good looking, he could speak eloquently, all of these things, very basal, there's no real substance to him. And then he gets in, and apparently he enacted a number of policies that he never once mentioned during the course of his time running for office. Tell us about that. How did you perceive...
Oh,
I got it. Somehow my Zoom muted. How did you perceive Trudeau when he was running? Were you aware of the type of person that his father was? And do you think that had any influence on him?
I'll tell you, I have a history with the Trudeaus. My birthday is the same day as Pierre-Elliott Trudeau.
Oh, okay.
And when I was 18 years old, when I turned 18 years old, just a brief history. Germany in 1949, I came to Canada on a Greek freighter with my mother in 1955. In the fall of 55, I was 6 years old. My dad had come here 3 months earlier. He'd got 3 jobs. He paid enough for my mom and I to come over on a Greek freighter. At any rate, when I was 18 years old, I had a choice to either become a Canadian citizen or to stay a German citizen. And I wanted to go back to visit my grandmother in Germany. And I decided, you know what, I'm going to be a Canadian. I spent my time here. I came here at 6 years old. It was tough, but I want to be a Canadian. I put my hand to my heart. And I believed at that time that it was your responsibility to take part in the political process because that's what you were told.
Right.
We were told 3 things back in those days. We were told, number 1, you have to learn English, you have to work hard, and you have to obey the laws of the land to become a productive Canadian citizen, and you will succeed. And my dad did all of those things, and we worked hard as a family. We had businesses in Ottawa. We had, at one point, we had 2 retail stores. We also had a piece of a fast food submarine sandwich restaurant. So things went really good for our family. But, over the course of time, things happen. And you change your perspective. When I helped Pierre Trudeau get elected, in reflection now, I think back that I was the same as a Hitler Youth, because I did not know that Pierre Trudeau was a communist when I helped elect him. I was not told that. Because back in those days, you had the Conservative Party, much like you had the Republicans down there, Democrats or Liberals up here, the same kind of left-right thing, right? So. Right. Liberals back then were the party of the middle. They took the best of the left, the best of the right, and that's why they were so popular and they always got elected. But as the years went on, of course, they swung so far to the left. Now, the history of Justin Trudeau is one that was basically established when he was born. And that goes right to the United Nations and Maurice Strong. I don't think your audience, your American audience, would know that Maurice Strong was one of the forefathers of the United Nations, and he's from of Quebec in Canada. He was one of the strongest purveyors, right, of the United Nations back in the late 40s, early 50s, whatever. Yep. He ended up a very wealthy man. He died in his mansion in China. That's how far this country has swung to the left. I watched that from Pierre Trudeau. You asked about Justin Trudeau, and I'm sorry I get off this thing about Pierre Trudeau because I go back to that time. And I watched that family grow, and we knew, any of us who were involved knew that Justin would be prime minister one day. He was appointed. Now, a lot of things happened along the way that you need to know. There were 3 sons in the Trudeau family. Michel, the best one, the one that was the most charismatic, that could speak to the populace, the one that was a sovereigntist, the only one of the 3 sons of Trudeau that loved Canada as a country. The other 2 are globalists. Alexander works for Iran. He makes videos for Iran. That's Justin's brother. He makes videos for Iran. And Justin Trudeau, of course, he's surrounded by the Muslim Brotherhood. Michel died in an avalanche. Now, since he died back in 97, I think it was 97 or 98, I've been wondering since then, they had so much money. I would have moved mountains to find my brother's body. They never searched for his body.
Okay. I knew he died in an avalanche, but that's insane to think they wouldn't search for his body.
There was a mild search, and then they kind of gave up, raised their hands, the lake's too deep. Now, wow. I'm sorry. I would have moved mountains to find him. Right? Yeah. That's part of that story. But here's the other thing. It's not a matter of elections in Canada anymore. It's always been about selection, right? We knew he was going to be prime minister. There were nods and signals from the past prime minister, Stephen Harper, when he was still in power, giving nods and winks to Justin Trudeau. We knew it was going to happen.
I think it's much the same thing here in America. President Trump, I would argue, was probably the first truly elected president. I mean, he was an outsider from both parties. He became an outsider in business and in culture because once the establishment realized that he was actually running and he actually had a chance of winning, they had to immediately attempt to assassinate his character. Hillary Clinton thought that she was the anointed one. It was her time. Everyone in the establishment had said so, and she was, ready to walk right into the White House. And when President Trump won, it was very devastating for Hillary Clinton. So yes, the exact same thing happening. Yes, I love it. Exact same thing.
And he won so big they couldn't fix it, right?
Yep.
He won so big they couldn't fix it. I bet he won by bigger numbers than they're telling you.
Absolutely. 100%. Yes.
You had back then, you had the Soros machines that were rigged, which are the machines. By the way, here's another thing. We should talk about Justin Trudeau a little bit more. Do you know down there that the Clinton Foundation got $200,000 or $200 million just after he was elected?
Yes, I'm aware. Yeah, deep ties between Trudeau and the Clintons.
But there's no United States meddling in our elections, is there? George Soros's biographer is our deputy prime minister, Chrystia Freeland. Did you know that?
I was not aware of that. Wow.
She was a journalist who got selected into Justin Trudeau's cabinet. And this year, because he's under investigation because of the new USMCA, do you know that the USMCA has a Section 25 in it that Trump put in there that says we can't have any corruption between the 3 countries or you're going to go to jail?
That's great.
So what happened on July 1st we had a citizen here, Norman Travisy, one of our Patriot friends, who gathered up 196 pages of evidence about pedophilia, child trafficking, money laundering, $52 billion that is missing in the Workmen's Compensation Fund up here. All of these papers were served to Donald Trump before July 1st. On July 1st, we had about 10,000 Patriots, roughly, between 6 and 10,000. We're not sure about the numbers, okay? I don't want to exaggerate here.
A large number of Patriots, that's fine.
Okay? There was a whole pile of people that the mainstream media never told anybody about. They marched with the papers from Parliament Hill in Ottawa down to the U.S. Embassy and delivered the papers to the embassy, even though the papers had already been sent to President Trump before that day.
Right.
So those papers are now going to be followed. The next day, Norman Travisy went to the Mexican embassy and made sure that the president of Mexico gets those papers as well. It's all got to do with Justin Trudeau. Justin Trudeau and Sophie are now separated. There's no marriage. We now have seen papers that have shown she filed before the 2015 election.
Oh, wow. So it was just a sham this entire time.
The whole thing is an Obama show.
Wow.
The whole thing was set up as a show. The papers she served for divorce were served in September of 2000, I think September or October 2015. The election was October 2015.
Now, what is happening with this investigation into Justin Trudeau? Because I had heard something about it. I don't even know how long ago it was. I mean, certainly months, 6 to 8 months, maybe 10 months. And it was it like the equivalent of our attorney general was going after him? I mean, there was clear evidence of corruption. That's all I know.
Oh, yeah. Oh, we've had now, he is now into his fourth, I think, ethics violation. He's up against the ethics commissioner. Of course, up here, they can rob and steal $40,000-$50,000 and they get a $100 fine. That's what the ethics commissioner says. Oh, you were bad. All you have to do is apologize to the public and away you go. Yeah, the SNC-Lavalin affair was a huge thing where our attorney general, of course, a woman, was fired because she wouldn't go along with Justin Trudeau and try to cover the whole thing up. So what Justin Trudeau did was replaced her. She was from British Columbia on the West Coast. He replaced her with a new attorney general who just happens to be the guy who serves in the riding where SNC-Lavalin has their head office. That's how all of this is.
Wasn't her father in the government at the same time as Pierre Trudeau? I think I saw a recorded exchange between them, and he mentioned something about his daughter having aspirations, perhaps for the prime ministership. And then, of course, Pierre was dismissive about it. So where is she now? I mean, is this investigation dead in the water because Trudeau got rid of her?
Well, yeah, we basically have a corrupt RCMP, much like you have the top end of the FBI corrupt. It's the same thing here, Zach. We have now, I don't know if you heard about the 23 people that got killed in Nova Scotia just recently, that massive...
oh, yes.
Scotia, 23 people got murdered and slaughtered by this guy that is now, and everybody who's watching this, if you want information on that, you go to Little Gray Cells on YouTube and he'll give you all the information. This man has been following it, researching it, the lies that have been perpetrated by the RCMP into that story, that there's no reason why for those people to have died. It's just a horrendous story. But again, it's like you guys have down there, all these false flags, all these guys come out from the left that are, I don't know, all these MK Ultra people. It's almost like, feels like they've unleashed the hounds of war is what they've done.
Right? What I've often thought is that because there is so much in common between our two countries, both colonies of Britain at one point. I don't know what the official designation is of Canada at this point, but I know that there is some level of autonomy. But there is a temperament to the Canadian people that is famous. Canadians are supposed to be nice, and Americans are supposed to be the grumpier neighbors to the south. But it's almost as if they have perpetrated the same types of things upon us. But it seems that they're a little further along in Canada. They've been doing it for longer, or maybe they've been sneaking it in a little more at a time. What do you think about that?
I'll tell you what, you just nailed it on the head. In 1976, and most Canadians don't know this either, but Pierre Trudeau, you have your, executive orders, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
The president can sign an executive order. We have what's called orders in council. Orders in council are signed by a prime minister, but they have to be ratified by parliament. In other words, it goes down and then the people talk about it, they debate it, and then they pass it once, In 1976, Pierre Trudeau signed over 3,000 orders in council that were never ratified by any parliamentary procedure. 1976, check it out. In the same year, in the British Parliament, there was 10. And all 10 were ratified by the parliament.
3,000. So
all 3,000 passed and slid through, and they've never been ratified by the parliament.
So, has there been any movement to perhaps nullify those orders, considering that they didn't? No, nobody cares.
Because every successive prime minister has loved the power.
Okay. Yeah.
I remember before Castro died, he made a quote. He said he wishes he had the same power that Trudeau has in his office.
And Trudeau and the Castros, the Trudeaus and the Castros were very close. I almost used a photo of Justin Trudeau and a young Fidel Castro. And what do you think about that? Do you think there's any truth to the idea that Fidel Castro is Trudeau's true father? Yes. Okay.
Totally. I'm 100% behind that. If you any pictures of Pierre Trudeau and Justin Trudeau as they grew up, there's not a chance he looked anywhere near. But as Castro, absolutely spitting image.
Yes, yeah, he is. It's
through
uncanny.
The 20s, 30s, and 40s, it's uncanny. There's no way it couldn't be. And Margaret Trudeau, she's a Sinclair, a famous Sinclair. Now, they have a history from Scotland of demonic deeds and things like that. When you look at the treachery and the debauchery that's gone on, Jeffrey Epstein, all of that. We had Picton, the pig farm, okay? All of the things that you have down there with Nexium, with Jeffrey Epstein, we had Peter Nygaard, we got the Picton pig farm. We've got spades, okay? We've got all of that in spades. It's just nicely covered up here. Right? Cover it up. And the reason and how they can cover it up is because we have always had a government paid for media. The Canadian Broadcasting Corporation.
Right.
They're paid for by the government. They are told what to say and tell the people of Canada, and they have been forever. And now we have a situation, Zach, in Canada, where the CBC gets $1.6 billion to broadcast, and all the other outlets that have been dying because nobody pays attention to them are getting almost $1 billion combined as well. So there isn't an in this country that gives people an alternate choice. There's no Fox News. If you have a cable channel subscription, you have to pay extra for Fox News, almost $100 a year.
Oh, wow. What's interesting?
Fox isn't that far. Right.
What's interesting is that the system is it's virtually the same here because we have what we call the 4 a.m. talking points. The clowns in America, CIA, Operation Mockingbird, they have all of their operatives in every level of journalistic organization, be it radio, television, newspaper, magazine, and they do the exact same thing. There is indirect funding for these broadcast corporations, and they get their talking points in the same way that the CBC or the BBC over in the UK. Now, Jurgen, many people already have asked how they can find you online. Normally, I wait till the end to have you tell people where to find you, but I want to talk more about your history so that we can get through some interesting stories. But tell people, how can they find you? How can they get in touch with you?
Well, I guess, I used to have a radio program back east, but now the remnants of that are on a Facebook page called Against the Grain, News You're Not Supposed to Know. Want to hit me up there. I put your stuff up there a lot. I put up a lot of X-22 report, Linda Paris stuff. We're right into it. We follow along. Oh, wait. Okay. You can get me on Facebook. I just joined Parler under my name, Vollrath. So hit me up on Parler. Everybody, come on, say hi. Also, I'm on Twitter. I really don't know how to use it very well. I just hooked up a few months ago. I don't know how to use it well, but I'm under Prairie_Patriot.
Prairie_Patriot. And then
here, if you want to have some fun, go to YouTube and go to 60-year-old Elvis and you'll find me. I won an audition. I beat about 40 Americans to play Elvis on the Carnival Cruise Lines, and I did out. So
that's great.
Also, I have an IMDb page. You can look up my name. I've been in some movies and some shorts, and Oh yeah, I've got a long history of doing many things. So.
I'm gonna see if well, is this your YouTube channel, Jurgen Vollrath?
Probably, yeah. what's up there? I'm not.
Okay.
I'm terrible with I don't know.
All right. Well, here, I'm going to put your YouTube in there. I'm going to find your Parler and put it in there. I saw people asking if I was on Parler. I am at RedPill78. I'm pretty much RedPill78 everywhere that you could have an account except for Instagram, which is RedPill78 News. But I primarily post on YouTube and Twitter, and that's why I go ahead and talk about that. But let's go. I want to go back to your emigration from Germany. I mean, clearly you lived through World War II. I mean, that is a horrific thing. Do you have any memories from that time? I mean,
no, I was born after. I was born in 49.
I'm sorry. I thought you said you came here in 49.
Yeah, I'm 70, not 100. Zach. Now, come on, take it easy.
Well, you're spry for whatever age you are. So,
hey, listen, you got to stay young, right? I got 10 kids, and I exercise every day. I'll tell you what, I started exercising about 6 months ago. I never felt better. I feel stronger now than 5 years ago. It's awesome.
That's awesome. I'm glad to hear it. Okay, so you came here, and you said that your first political involvement was in the Pierre Trudeau.
It was heavy.
Election.
It was heavy. As a young kid, my later high school years, where my high school was located in Ottawa was a new high school, and my dad had bought a house on one side. On the other side of the high school was an established, very wealthy neighborhood where they had all the diplomats and bureaucrats, and all the kids went to that high school. And so I got dragged into all these diplomatic events in Ottawa. I went to the Greek embassy, the Italian embassy. I became part of the Young Liberals, where we worked every day in school and after school, going to functions and events to help elect Pierre Trudeau. So it was huge. And now here's the thing. Here's what happened, and here's the treachery that befell the Canadian people at that time. Okay, now. Canada was in a bit of a conundrum. It was in a mess because we had just had the flag debate. The flag debate was huge. Before we got that red maple leaf that you see now with the red borders.
Yes.
Such a kerfuffle for a year or two, maybe even longer. The flag debate went on because the conservative element of our country wanted two blue borders to signify the Pacific Ocean and the Atlantic Ocean.
Okay.
Right? Makes sense to the rest of us as well.
Yeah.
Right. But in the end, because the Liberals had a majority, it's an all-red flag, just like the communists. But nobody ever put that together until we were told that Trudeau was a communist. However, we had such a problem back then. People didn't think we were in Confederation because Quebec hadn't signed the papers properly and all that stuff. So there was a movement to keep Canada together. And Pierre Trudeau was called in by Lester B. Pearson to fix Canada. He was called in from Quebec. Lester B. Pearson, I remember the headline said, the three wise men from Quebec have to come and fix Canada. Now, Quebec, of course, is the only French-speaking province in our country, and they basically dictate policy to the rest of Canada. They have forced the rest of Canada to become bilingual while they remain unilingually French. So there's a legislative division we have in our country through that Official Languages Act. At any rate, so Pierre Trudeau was the beginning of the Justin Trudeau nightmare. The things that he put in place during his tenure as a communist, the three wise men, Pierre Trudeau was a known communist to Lester B. Pearson, the prime minister. Jean Marchand was a head of the unions in Quebec, and there was this guy named Pelletier as well. So these three guys came from Quebec, and from that day on, when Pierre Trudeau was elected, Canada really slid in because of his strong ties with Maurice Strong. They really became a petri dish for all things UN. And any of us who were aware could see that we were sliding to this Marxist totalitarian sort of thing from our democratic. And when Pierre Trudeau pulled that, that's when all the power went from the people and went right to the prime minister's office. And ever since then, every prime minister loves the power. Why would they want to change it?
Oh, of course. There was under George W. Bush and other presidents, but George W. Bush was famous for it. There was something called presidential signing statements, which is an extra legal method to give additional powers to the office of the president. rather than an executive order or rather than having a bill passed. It's essentially a memo that the president just writes out and says, I want this to happen, therefore it is decreed, and then it's there. And it's been talked about in terms of perhaps, this is not legal. It's not constitutional, certainly. But the same reason, I mean, it affords the office of the president additional powers, and nobody has been willing to, go up against it in this time. Do you remember, how did it come out that Pierre Trudeau was a communist? I mean, was there an expose? I mean, did he come out and admit it, or was it just explainable by his policies?
No, we still had some right-wing newspapers.
Okay.
Somebody did some digging, and they found that he had been a card-carrying member of the Communist Party, and that's when pictures came out of him riding around in Montreal with a swastika during the Second World War.
Oh, wow.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Our country changed huge when he came in. In 1967, I guess he ushered in Pierre Trudeau when Charles de Gaulle came from France and gave that famous speech in Montreal and said, "Vive le Québec libre." So, this goes back to 1763 when Canada basically signed when the Treaty of Paris was signed between England and France gave up Canada. Mm-hmm. Right? Okay. And what happened then was basically there was a war, the Battle of the Plains of Abraham, and France lost, England won. But in effect, since that day forward, English-speaking Canada has been giving in to French-speaking Quebec.
Wow.
The English-speaking winners gave the province of Quebec their language and their religion. A little while after the war, there were several generals overheard in an inn in Montreal. They were overheard by the English-speaking couple who owned the inn. They feigned knowledge of the French language, and they gave these French colonels and generals dinner and cognac, and they had cognac and cigars after dinner. And they were heard saying that once they take Canada back, they will not be as generous, and they will not give English-speaking Canadians their language or their religion. And what we've seen since then is a slow creeping of taking away English-speaking rights in Canada. There is a perception throughout the world that we're a French-speaking country. I know that many people can go from, for example, they can fly down to Florida, and because so many wealthy Quebecers have flown to Florida for vacation, a lot of Floridians think that we all are just French speakers up here. I've flown and gotten off a plane, and somebody has said to me, "Wow, you don't even have an accent for someone who comes from Canada. You speak English very well for a Canadian," and that's a perception. But that's what they've done here through the Official Languages Act, through the Charter of Legislated Rights and Restricted Freedoms that they hoisted onto our British common law, which has confused our courts tremendously. It's a mess. It's a real mess because Trudeau decided that British common law, which is based on common sense, would serve a country well for 150, 200 years, whatever, right, wasn't good enough. So he had to foist the French Civil Code on top of the British common law, which has created total confusion in our courts, where we now have courts like you guys do, where George Soros can buy the prosecutor, can buy the judge, right? And place him in his own little fiefdom where he can determine the laws on his own based on these charters that these people come up with that have nothing to do with anybody's rights or anybody's God-given freedoms.
Anytime people have tried to explain the Canadian legal system to me, I've just been absolutely lost. And I never really understood why. I mean, but that makes a lot of sense. If there's like competing things and then all the talk about charters. I mean, I think a charter and I think like a mission for a nonprofit organization or something like that. Or, or a mission statement for a corporation.
They use charters in the Soviet Union, Zach. That's where they use charters.
Oh, that makes so much sense.
Yeah. It's priceless, isn't it? Oh, by the way, before I forget.
Yes.
I want all Americans to know that there is a huge push in Western Canada to separate from the socialist, communist East. It's huge. It's massive. We already have a panel, and if there's people in the United States prepared, there are people up here already in Alberta and Saskatchewan that have formed panels prepared to make trade agreements and be the best friends America has ever had.
Do you think that there is a legitimate possibility that the two halves of Canada could split? Yes?
There's a very distinct possibility. If the corruption doesn't end very soon, I would say within the next 6 months to a year, you're going to see a major effort here. I was just at a meeting a couple of weeks ago where within 60 days, you may see some very serious action in Alberta about separation. We've had it. You can't take it anymore. They've destroyed the oil and gas industry here. We've lost almost 200,000 jobs. Suicides are up, and they don't give a crap back east. They don't care. They don't care. They like the electricity from Quebec. Everybody's got cheap electricity because of the massive power dam that the Canadian taxpayer built up in James Bay. So they get cheap electricity, and all they do all day is just crap on Alberta oil. And it's what we do for a living here. It's what keeps us going. It's what keeps our homes warm in the winter. So they'll take Saudi oil on the East Coast, Zach. This is horrendous what's happening here. And here's the other thing. We've been pushing for a pipeline from Alberta to the east because they got refineries there that can handle it, right? They said, no, we can't build a pipeline. It's not environmentally. It's always about the environment. There's always more regulations. Another turtle's going to die, right? So rather than build a pipeline from Alberta to the east, you know what they're doing? They're actually taking the pipeline from Alberta to British Columbia, putting it into tanker. It's going all the way around Panama Canal, coming all the way up the east coast to Nova Scotia through the St. Lawrence to the refineries there. Like, enough to drive you insane.
Malfunction. All right, it's coming back on. Jurgen, I need to give a couple of quick thank yous to the audience. Kyle Howell, thank you very much for that generous donation on Cash App. Also, Dana Finkler says he's flying out to meet Gaffer Anon for a week. I have heard that story, Dana. I hope you and Gaffer have a good time. Also, Gaffer Anon himself says he's eating keto-unfriendly popcorn. That's okay, buddy. Enjoy the popcorn because I certainly can't eat it because I am on the keto diet. Margaret Earl says, where we go one, we go all. Thank you for all you do. Thank you for that donation, Margaret. I really appreciate it. And then I see that we had somebody join on Patreon, so thank you very much, anybody who has signed up on Patreon. And then I'm Ready Are You says, Little Bear 219 on Twitter, Singing Pretty on Parler. Okay, great. I'm going to go ahead and follow you right now, Singing Pretty, while I've got Parler open. And for some reason, it doesn't find you yet. Let's see. Also, Jurgen, I can't locate you on Parler. What is your username? I mean, is it actually at Jurgen Vollrath?
Yeah, that's as far as I know. Yeah, I signed up today, so I don't know.
Okay. You might not have hit save.
Might not have hit the right button somewhere along the way. I wasn't really too concerned about it. I just, but I wanted to join it.
That's no problem. No problem. All right. So, I think we've got a lot of people fired up here in the chat. There's clearly a lot of issues facing Canada. What is the process by which? I'm sorry, my daughter is calling me. Hold on just a moment. She knows I'm on the air, so I'm worried this might be an emergency.
Go.
Honey, I'm on the air. What's wrong?
Dad, literally, when I was reversing, I don't know if it was because I was reversing or because the lights were on my car. When I turned them off, my battery light went off, but when I turned them back on, my battery light came on in my car.
Okay, then get home. Just get home with the car. I'm on the air. I gotta go.
Well, everybody. Not sure if you can hear me, if I'm on live, if
I think, you know what I just...
we wait for Zach.
You know what I just realized? I realized I muted for you, but I didn't mute for the audience. So you guys all heard me talking to my daughter. I had to co-sign. Okay, first of all, I had helped her buy a car or way earlier, maybe I guess the middle of last year, so about a year ago, and she was making payments to me every month. Well, this car has now died, and so I had to co-sign on a loan for her to get a more reliable car, as a father should. So
There you go.
The battery light came on when she put it into reverse. And so she's hyper sensitive about what might possibly go wrong with the car because we've had so much go wrong with this last car. So pray to God, please pray for my daughter's safety. Pray that the car is good. She's so just, emotional, like she's very expressive. She texts me, OMG, Dad, and then calls me while I'm on the air, making me think that something terrible has happened. But thank God, nothing terrible has happened. So
thank God for that.
Yes, that is great. Family
is important, Zach. Anytime it's about family, you just stop everything else.
Absolutely. Okay, so let's talk about the process of potentially splitting Canada into two countries, because this is not the first time that it's been discussed. I mean, Quebec specifically, I remember back, maybe it was the late 90s, mid 2000s, there was some discussion about Quebec becoming its own country.
95. We went from Ottawa, drove to Montreal. There was 150,000 of us that went there to save the country, when in fact we should have all stayed home and let them separate. It was a big mistake for a lot of people. We shouldn't have done that. Let them go and have their own autonomy, because they really, what they're doing in Canada now, we call them the Laurentian elite. They've been passing down power, and you can watch a video of Justin Trudeau where he says that the only good prime ministers have come from Quebec. It's the Laurentian, a French elite. You can also watch a video that's out there from Margaret Trudeau before she married Pierre Trudeau, when she talked about how arrogant the French elite were in this country and how they felt that they should rule and dominate all of Canada, and they're the only ones who have the legitimate right to rule this country. And that's a major problem, and that most people aren't aware of that.
Why do you think that is? I mean, is it the French lineage? Are they like channeling Marie Antoinette or Louis XIV?
Yeah, no, it's. I think it's just a matter of pure will and willpower. They've, like I said, since the 1800s, they were determined to take this country back. They said, and they will not be as kind, and they haven't been. English-speaking Canada has acquiesced and given in to Quebec ever since I can remember as a kid. When Pierre Trudeau came along, there was a $50 million Royal Commission on bilingualism and biculturalism in this country, where all kinds of guys went across this country spending our money, asking people whether we should become a bilingual and a bicultural country. And I remember one of the senators came back and he said to Pierre Trudeau, do not touch the language thing. We should not become an officially bilingual country, because Canadians will figure it out for themselves. Pierre Trudeau looked at them and says, I don't care what you think. I'm passing the Official Languages Act.
Wow.
And ever since then, we've had official division in this country. And right after, a couple of years after, they passed the Official Languages Act, making Canada officially bilingual, when the great majority of Canada, outside the province of Quebec, 96% are English speakers.
That's just ridiculous to me.
It's insane, right? It's insane. It's the same thing that's happening down the States. You've got a tremendous amount of Hispanic pressure to make your country bilingual. Mm-hmm. A few years ago, I offered a group, I forget, in Washington, to go down there as spokesperson for Canadians for Language Fairness, and my role in trying to fight for the English speakers here, to come down and speak to organizations down there, because I know what's going on here and how it affects our society. If we got rid of official bilingualism, we could save $3 billion a year. We could open up opportunities. It creates assimilation. It creates a unity, but they don't want that.
So do the people of Ottawa, are they more likely to be socioeconomically advantaged? I mean, is there some a wealth because I mean, anytime you have people like here in America, they get it very, very often. The people of the cabal will either begin life as very wealthy and affluent, or they will become very wealthy and affluent, and then they look down at the rest of the country as the plebs, essentially.
I think you've got the same thing going on there as we do here. It's the same thing in Ottawa. I'm so glad I left there. I got to tell you, we've been 3 years now in Alberta, and the air is fresher out here. It's got more freedom in it. There's so much entitlement in the city of Ottawa. You can smell it. I had businesses there, and you know, back in the late 80s, we could feel it coming. Actually, it was even before that. In the mid 80s or so, you could feel it coming. Customers would come in and they would almost frown and have this, because most of them were public servants in Ottawa, right? So the stores we catered to them, and we catered to the people that worked for local municipal government and provincial government and government upon government upon government. But they would come in and you could feel that they had this sense of entitlement because on 50, they start work at 20, they retire at 50, and they die at 90. They collect a pension for 40 years that's greater than what you and I are making on our job.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
There is an air of entitlement. I remember when I was selling houses for Gilchrist Home, designing houses, and I had this one fella come in. He had retired at the age of 50 with a pension of about $65,000 a year. Now, I don't begrudge anyone working and getting a pension. That's fine.
That's a lot of money for a pension.
It's a lot of money. I know another gal who has even more. She's making $75,000 a year right now. She worked her way up from the time she was 20 till the time she was 50, retired at 50. She's now 70, been collecting a $75,000 pension for 20 years.
What is the situation in Canada with the debt they hold? I mean, clearly the debt is a major question here. But I mean, obviously, so many social programs. I mean, the free healthcare that they've got. I mean, obviously they're taxing the heck out of the citizens. But are they taking on debt in the same way that the United States has been forced to?
It's the same thing. Justin Trudeau has been sending out checks. He's been sending money out of this country like a drunken sailor on a Friday. It's insane. Like he's, it's all to appease. For the last 4 years, he's done nothing but send checks. 500 million to an African country for abortion here, gender studies for 100 million in another country there, all in this attempt to gain a seat on the UN Security Council. And of course, he was up against two other countries. Norway won it. Thank God Norway got it. I'm so glad that the monsters at the UN didn't give Trudeau that seat, because that would have been his crowning glory. That's his whole purpose for being there, is to satisfy the United Nations. That's the whole reason for this government's existence. And like I said, Chrystia Freeland is the biographer to George Soros, so that gives you an idea of what's going on up here. It's horrendous, and I fear for the future of this country. I think the only hope that we may have is to possibly separate if it doesn't clean up. And the forces of separation are growing stronger in the West than they are in the East, because the East, Quebec has their power. They've got what they want. Alberta keeps paying them, even though they've destroyed our oil and gas industry, $10 billion a year in this phony equalization payment thing, where people in Quebec can get free vitro in fertilization, but people in Alberta have to pay tens of thousands of dollars to have a baby like that.
That
it's
makes absolutely no sense. That makes no sense. Now, you also mentioned in your rant at the beginning that drug addicts can receive treatment, but I mean, I'm assuming you're not meaning, the treatment to get you sober so you don't use drugs anymore. I mean, I've heard stories of heroin injection clinics.
Yeah, safe injection sites, they call them. They're popping up all over the country. Now, they've slowed down a little bit. I haven't heard much in the last year or so with this pandemic going on. Mm-hmm. But I know before I left Ottawa, they had opened one. Imagine this, Zach, in a public park downtown. They just set up a tent and said, come on in and use your free needles.
Wow.
Like these families and kids, and there's people shooting up heroin and stuff on these park benches.
Well, the implication in my mind is clearly to normalize it. So you're a child, you see people shooting up, you think that it's normal, you think, hey, when I grow up, I'm going to try heroin. And then you're going to be either a ward of the state or a slave of the state. Where's the heroin coming from? I mean, how are the drugs coming into Canada? No, go ahead.
How are the drugs coming into Canada?
I mean, is it the same problem with Mexico and China? A lot of the drugs, there is an agreement made between the Mexican cartels and the Chinese CCP. So raw product is taken from Central and South America. It's brought into Mexico, shipped out to China. They process it. They make the precursors for various drugs. They make the the opiates and such, and then it comes back here, and then the Mexican drug cartels will sell it on the open market here in America. Do you have that same sort of problem up there, like MS-13, that sort of thing?
Oh, hey, listen. In 2015, when Justin Trudeau was elected, there was no Antifa, there was no Black Lives Matter in Canada. Upon the election of Justin Trudeau, both entities arrived and started stirring up trouble. And mainstream media started saying how good they all were. So it's a disaster. And as far as the drugs go, it's the same. We had a fentanyl bust in Toronto a couple of years ago, maybe not that long ago, that could have killed the entire country. It was tons of the stuff.
I heard about that.
It was one of the Toronto shooters. He had shot a bunch of people. His brother was involved in it. And of course, they sweep everything under the rug. We don't know the full story about it. We just know that there was enough to kill the entire country. So it's insane. It's coming from China for sure. One of the things that Americans need to know, we do not support the Chinese takeover of Canada. Okay? We do not support the fact that the Chinese are here with their army. You people should know that. The Chinese army is here. The Chinese are allowed to work on our land, taking our resources, paying in Chinese money. That's what's going on up here.
So the situation here is that the wealthy Chinese elite, the high-ranking party members of the CCP, they will send their children to go to school here in the United States, and then they basically set up shop. They infiltrate themselves into whatever business or industry or government, and then they use that as an opportunity to funnel information back and forth. Is it the same type of thing, or is it a more overt action there?
I think it's a little more overt here. I think it's a situation where we're so far in debt and we're so tied into the Chinese that we basically borrow money and say, okay, for the money we've borrowed, here, come and take this gold mine, here, come and take this diamond mine. You need some potash, you need some, it's like the Saudi Arabians have bought up the grain silos and stuff. It's just, we are being sold out to these globalist entities. Like I said earlier, Canada has been a petri dish for the United Nations for 60 years.
Now, when you say the Chinese army, I mean, is that a euphemism, or just a lot of Chinese people?
I just heard that last week.
The actual Chinese army.
I heard that there were elements of the Chinese army up here to protect their interests in some of the mines they're working.
That is insane.
I haven't got the proof, Zach. I don't know for sure. Listen, I don't know for sure. I would trust the source. I mean, people in Canada are going to know, before people here in the United States. I want to actually see if they have any reports on that, because that is absolutely insane. Chinese Army Canada. Let's go ahead and take a look. You guys, I've got the number up on the screen. We're going to be taking calls here in just a few minutes. So by all means, I want to hear from all of our Canadian Patriots. You guys have been waiting a long time for this show. Let me do a couple of quick thank yous from PayPal. Let's see. David says, last Saturday, you had a new mod who freaked out about so many flags. Since then, Tree Climber and others have gotten permanently banned, and we can no longer comment. I believe Jack Martin was another that I noticed got zapped too. I can't remember the others. Help. Okay, so who was... okay, can you email me, David? Obviously, if somebody is... The only reason anybody should be banned, and this is, as much to the mods as anybody else, is if, people are repeat offenders. I want the chat to be family friendly, don't use expletives, and if you continue, like say people are denigrating the guest and they're routinely using expletives and are being, offensive, you might get banned. My mods want the chat to stay comfy. But if I don't know any new mods, so it may be an old mod who hadn't been here for a while. So could you please email me redpill78@protonmail.com and we can talk about this at greater length. But I'm asking the mods to not just arbitrarily ban people. If we have trolls showing up that are, saying that Q's fake, President Trump's, a rapist or something like that,
go ahead and ban them, because we know that they're here just to cause trouble. Or if they're saying that my guests are crazy or something like that. I do want to tell the audience that you have the right to your opinion, and if you don't agree with the information that my guest is presenting, then you can go ahead and talk about that in a sane and logical way. You don't have to come here and be abusive. I think that my chat, my channel has a certain feel to it, and it's because I try to cultivate, a higher intellectual pursuit of conversation here on my channel, rather than just making fun of people and being rude. So, keeping all of that in mind, mods and the people in the chat, you guys, I appreciate all of you, and I want you to know, let me see, hold on. Let's see. Leslie says, just letting you know, banning has not happened here. Just time out for a few seconds. And see, that's what I thought, and that's why I wanted David to message me. But yeah, so maybe people are thinking that they're being banned when they're only timed out. And maybe they got timed out, and then they left the chat because they were upset and they didn't stick around for the timeout to stop. Perhaps also people get confused about slow mode, okay? Because you can't type but once every 60 to 90 seconds, depending on when I set it. So, Jojo says, no mod has banned anyone, just removed comments. Okay, so David, I think you might be mistaken, but still, go ahead and email me and we can talk about it. Muffin, what's going on? I got Muffin Gate 3.0 happening, guys. Come here. Come here. My dog's behind the green screen, and she's upset. Come here, honey. Muffin was behind the green screen, and she couldn't get through. Come here, honey. Just hang out. Just hang out. All right, you guys. So, yes, I appreciate the audience. I appreciate the hard work of the mods. You guys are great. Thank you very much, and definitely send me an email. All right, so let me finish these thank yous so that I can get through that. Then I also need to say thank you to Benny. No message from Benny, but thank you, Benny. Also, Kathy says, wish it could be more. Love your show. Keep up the awesome work. God bless you and yours. Kathy, anything that you want to donate, I sincerely appreciate. And even if you're not able to donate and you're just here to like and share the broadcast and watch it, then I appreciate everyone equally. David, thank you very much for that. I appreciate you. Robert, thank you very much for that donation. And that is everyone. So I appreciate all of those donations, you guys. It means a lot. Clearly, things are tenuous here on this platform. We'll keep it at that. But I want everybody to know that no matter what, I am going to persevere. I'm going to keep pushing forward, and I'm going to keep fighting to maintain this platform because, I've put a lot of work into it. It's been my heart and soul over these last couple of years, and I'm blessed to be able to do this. And as long as God continues to bless me and I stay here, able to bring this message to you guys, that's all that I ask for in the world. All right. So before we bring anybody in on the phones, is there anything? Any one major issue that is facing Canada that you want to make sure that everybody is aware of, something that, you as a citizen, you might be uniquely placed to get that perspective?
I think the biggest issue right now facing the country is its unity. I think we have to focus on Wexit. I was a founding member of Wexit. Actually, we started the movement a couple of years ago because we saw what Justin Trudeau was doing, and we've seen what's been happening over the last number of years, decades actually, with previous leaders leading us towards this where we are today. Like I said earlier, we've been a petri dish for the UN for as long as I can remember. So anything that you're feeling down there, trust me, we've had it in spades up here. The jackboots are coming. It's getting worse. We're feeling suffocating now with mandatory mask laws that are coming in August in our major cities with this pandemic. And I think the biggest thing that Americans should know is that we in the West specifically are more than eager to form a fantastic union with the United States of America. We are not aligned with those that make fun of the American population and the American people.
We love the Constitution. We believe the Constitution is the goal that all of us in the world strive to have. Ever since I can remember, I wish that I lived under your Constitution, because you have safeguards and protections given by God, not written by the hand of man. And that makes such a difference. And here's the biggest difference for you and us up here. You have what is called the ability to pursue life, liberty, and happiness, right?
Mm-hmm.
The motto is up here, Zach?
What?
The pursuit of good governance.
Pursuit of good governance. Okay.
That could be depending on who looks at it, right?
Right. All things through the state. Oh, wait. Okay. Got it. I got it fixed. All things through the state. That's ridiculous. All right, let's go ahead and bring our first caller in.
Sure.
Let's see. Sweta is here. Okay, we'll get Sweta in. And hold on, you guys. My phone is about to die, so I need to try and plug it into my USB port on the back of my computer screen. Sweta, are you there? Sweta? I'm not hearing anything,
Hello?
Sweta. Yes, are you there?
Yeah, hi, Redfield.
Hi, how are you?
Yeah, I'm good.
Good. What's your question or comment for Jurgen?
What I'd like to ask him is, what is it in Canada that's causing so many people to join Antifa? Now, would he have any clue as to how and why Antifa is getting popular in a country like Canada?
Well, what is it that's causing so many people in Canada to join up with Antifa? I mean, it seems from the outside to have been more of a traditionally left-leaning nation, or that's how it's been portrayed. Maybe it's just under Justin Trudeau that's the reason that it's being portrayed that way. But obviously, you have the same issue there that we have here. George Soros pumping money in through non-governmental organizations, propping up groups such as Antifa and BLM. Do you think that is why you've got such a push towards that, or do you think that it's some other reason?
It's a combination of things, and that's the United Nations wanting full control. And to get that control, of course, you put fear into the population. You put fear into the population by creating confusion. The confusion lies in the name of Antifa itself. They're fascists. They call themselves anti-fascists. I stared them face to face one time. I gave a speech in March of 2017 up on Parliament Hill. And after the speech, we were up there because, Sweeter, we were up there to protest Motion 101, which was a anti-blasphemy law, an Islamophobia law, which was going to take away our freedom of speech. So we were up there protesting that. I gave a speech in relation to that. After the speech, I walked down and there was Antifa on the other side of the road. And I went up to one of them and I started looking into the vacant eyes of one of these people, and I realized that, oh my gosh, these people are robots. These people are, somehow they've been brainwashed. Somehow they've been, the way this person talked, the way the eyes glazed over, everything was just so bizarre. And one of my friends actually said, ask her, it was a girl I was talking to, Antifa girl, and she asked her how much money she's making. So I did. I said, how much money are you making? When I said that, her face just dropped. She took her mask off, and I asked her, how much money are you making? And you could tell in her face that, this guy knows that we're getting paid. So it's the same thing here. That's what we have Antifa, and they're joining Antifa because George Soros is paying. It's a job. It's a job to raise heck when you really don't have any purpose in life, right? And you have a media here that is fully complicit in pushing Antifa motivations, right?
Yes.
They want to create the chaos, to divide this country even further, and they're doing a heck of a job because the separation movement is growing.
Now, Jurgen, I think we have a Canadian viewer in the chat who is from the eastern portion of Canada, and mentioned that yes, there are of course people all across Canada who appreciate the United States, appreciate our government. And I took it to be that when you said, the eastern portion of Canada, it's in the same way that we might say, those people in California or those people in New York.
That's right.
Yes,
That's
yes.
right.
It's pejorative, I mean, we don't literally mean all the people in each of these areas.
Definitely.
Yes.
I have lots of Patriot friends in the East, and it's not meant as a blanket statement to cover all Easterners, that's for sure.
Yeah. All right, Sweeta, any follow-up on that?
I have a request for you as well. I have a request for you as well. There's this targeted individual in America that I'm in touch with in Facebook.
Okay.
He also has a YouTube channel. I'll give you his email address. If sometime you could interview a targeted individual from America, he's one of the very sensible guys in the community who does a lot of the targeted individuals get very hysterical and everything. He's one of the sane guys. An interview with him would be really useful to our community, the targeted individuals as such.
Okay.
His email ID is Douglas L Jones, DOUGLASLJONES 62 @gmail.com.
Okay, let me just repeat that.
Jones,
Douglas, N as in Nancy, Jones, 62.
Douglas L Jones.
L
Jones.
L as in Larry. Okay.
DOUGLASLJONES 62 @gmail.com.
Gmail.com. I will send him an email after the show.
And one way for you to get in touch with Eric Karlstrom will be, now Anne Vandersteel has interviewed someone called Catherine Horton, who also happens to be a targeted individual. And Catherine Horton has also been interviewed by a YouTube channel called Pinecone Utopia of YouTube by Paul Marco. If you could request Anne Vandersteel to help you get in touch with Catherine Horton, maybe you could get in touch with Eric Karlstrom. But otherwise, I'll be sending you an email with his websites as well.
Okay, perfect. I appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
Thank you,
thank you
Sweeta.
so much.
Have a wonderful night.
Thank you.
Yep, bye-bye.
Thank you.
Zach,
Yes.
I won this at a rally. I don't know if you can see it or not.
Oh, it's a little blurry, but I can tell it's a certificate with your name on it. What's the title?
Yeah, it says the Joe Biden Excellence Award presented to Jurgen Vollrath from the other sniffies on June 6, 2020.
Oh, I love it.
I went up at a rally. We have rallies here in Medicine Hat every Saturday.
Okay.
Group of patriots, and honestly, they're the loveliest people on the planet. We're trying to educate the people here every Saturday, and I did my best, Joe Biden, and I sniffed one of them on the back of the neck. The next week, I got this, and she came up and gave me a certificate.
Oh, I love it. I love it.
I love it. It was fantastic.
Okay, so Conscience Abe said, while it's possible, unable to confirm Chinese army in Canada, TMAC mining gold sold to China. Okay, yeah, so, one thing that we're going to want to, keep an eye on, obviously, guys, if we get Chinese boots on the ground in Canada, that is just one step away from our border.
Just watch for it. Yeah, you have to watch for it. I'm telling you, you have to watch.
All right, let's bring in Group C next. Good friend of the program. Let's see. And why do we still have Sweeta on the screen? There she goes. She's gone. Okay. All right. Group C is a good friend of the program. Always has excellent questions. Let me just say before he joins, Gino says, does Canada have a Trump-like figure? Are there any Trump-like figures there in Canada, or is it a uniquely singular phenomenon with us in the United States?
You've got the one and only.
One and only. That's kind of what I thought. Longshot Mags 2 says, God bless you, Red Pill. Where we go one, we go all. Thank you so much for that, Longshot.
Absolutely.
Appreciate it. All right, Group C is still connecting on audio. Still coming through. You guys, I'm just going to go ahead and drop the Zoom link in the chat one more time. Whether or not you live in Canada, please give us a call. Let's talk about what's going on. Let's get your perspective on any of the things that we've spoken about. If you have any additional information or you want to talk about And We Know, great channel, our favorite Anon right there, QAnon, good stuff. So how long have you been a follower of Q? I mean, since the beginning, I would imagine?
Since day one.
Beautiful, beautiful, good stuff.
And incredible. I just, I'm trying to convince people that it is a research, what do you call it?
Movement.
Yeah, a research movement rather than a ground boots movement of going out every Saturday or Friday. You do your own research. It feeds you tidbits, and then you go down that rabbit hole and you find the truth. I'm trying to that's what it's all about. And you know, I think it's a wonderful worldwide movement. You can feel the energy of it. Positive thing every day. It keeps my wife and I happy. You know, I have so many people and friends that are locked in their places of work or their homes. They are so afraid, and yet my wife and I we're just happy.
Yeah,
we're just so happy. We know good things are going to happen because good will triumph over evil.
Absolutely. We know the end,
wins.
and God wins. All right,
God wins.
Group C, you are on the air, buddy. Did you see I followed you on Twitter?
I sure did. Thanks for doing that.
No problem, man. Thanks for reaching out. Just funny story. I barely get to read even a.
Wow, that is awesome. That doesn't happen often enough. I hear you loud and clear.
You're not muted. Red Pill is not muted, and there's nothing I can do.
All right, let them know that I'm going to try something with the settings because.
Okay.
Yeah.
He's going to try something with the settings, folks. If you can't hear him, let him know. I can hear him for some reason. Group C, can you hear me?
I sure can.
There we go. Nice to meet you, fellow patriot.
All right, testing, 1, 2, 3. God. It's kind of a running joke because every now and then I will mute myself. Okay, I'm back. Okay, so me unplugging the mic did it. I just want everybody to know I have not been muting myself, okay? So if I go muted, it's not me. It's something to do with my computer. So thank you guys. I appreciate it. All right, Group C, you're back on the air with us. It's good to hear you. And what's your question for Jurgen?
So I had 2 questions, but your previous super chat already asked him, and that was the one if there was a Donald Trump-like figure in Canada. So there goes that one. So we'll move on to question number 2. All right. So Jurgen, you had mentioned previously that Trump had slipped a clause in the USMCA that says no corruption earlier in the show.
Yep.
I have not read the USMCA for myself, but after you mentioned that, I did think of one thing, and, you know, obviously, as you had talked about, there is a lot of corruption in Canada. And so I think that with that clause that you mentioned within the USMCA, maybe that'll be used to help drain the swamp from the other side of the border and salvage Canada from the evil that has the country in its clutches. What do you think of that?
I think that's a very solid thing that you said. I think it makes a lot of sense. Right now, there's a lot of speculation that Justin Trudeau's already wearing an ankle bracelet up here.
I've seen some photos that appeared to look like he was.
Oh yeah, he might have even now. It might be gone. He might have been microchipped, is some of the speculation that's going on. He's in a scandal right now. Of course, another scandal where $900 million was given to this charity. Yeah, it's really bad, and I'm so pleased that Norman Traversy and other patriots delivered those papers to the United States government. Donald Trump has them. The Department of Justice has them. I think you're going to see, you know, it goes so deep. I was talking to Zak earlier about the Picton pig farm. That case still isn't settled. That goes really deep. It's all part of Nexium. It's part of Epstein. It's part of Peter Nygard. And all of these sickos with their islands and their submarines, and and children. And
What is that? Because I'm not familiar with it at all. I know Peter Nygaard, but I just don't know anything about this pig farm. I will say, however, that there is.
Well, you got to look it up.
Okay, because I mean,
Robert Picton, that the man who ran the pig farm, had a sister who's still walking the streets. The sister is the one, Linda, I think is her name. She is the one who set up all RCMP commissioners and high-level diplomats and all of these high-level bureaucrats and wealthy elites to have sex with these people at this pig farm. And a lot of the bodies, they found, I don't know how many bodies that were butchered there. You've got to look it up. The Picton Pig Farm, Zach, you'll find a lot of information on it. Robert Picton is the guy who was found guilty of killing all the girls, etc. But there's a lot of girls here. Thousands of girls have gone missing that they've never found them. And there's a lot of speculation that there's more to that pig farm than that came out in the trial a number of years.
All right, I have found some information about it. It sounds vaguely familiar. I mean, pig farm. This is also something that I believe John Podesta has some ownership in, a pig farm here in America. And yeah, I mean, there's a book, The Silence of the Lambs. There's multiple books.
Hannibal series told us what they were doing, Zach.
Yes, that's exactly what I thought of.
Yep,
they
told us what they were doing.
Yeah. All right, Group C. What else is going on, buddy?
I guess another question I would like to ask is, this will be for both of you. Where you're both at, how are things going with the whole COVID-19 thing?
Yeah, you had mentioned that some places people are, under stricter orders than others. The cities are going to have to be wearing masks. Is that in perpetuity? You guys are going to be forced to wear masks forever? It's going to look like Wuhan, China?
I think they're going to try to force that on us here for sure, because we're, like I said, your Constitution's the only thing that stops us from being China West. And we have apathetic, pliable public here that have been, basically sitting on their butts for 2 or 3 generations now. They don't know real harm or suffering. They don't know bad times. And so they're pliable. I find the Canadian population, I had a very hard time when I was moving west, because I took some time moving west, and everybody that I encountered on my travels when we moved out here, I asked them if they knew anything about Motion 103, which was the blasphemy law. And not a single Canadian knew what it was. And the saddest part was not a single Canadian asked me what it was. Or even asked me, like, why are you concerned about it? So we have a population that's not being told anything, because we have a media that is totally bought by the government. Every aspect of our media is government bought.
That's such a shame. I mean, now it makes a lot more sense now why the citizens of Canada would be going to YouTube to try to find their news, to try to find true answers. If there's simply no, respectable mainstream source, and I seriously, because even Fox News, I mean, they've fallen from grace, to a great degree. Paul Ryan has essentially ruined the organization.
Donna Brazil, give me a break.
Oh, Donna Brazil. Oh, God, Lord. Okay.
I can't stand it. They destroyed that network.
Yeah.
I can't stand it. So you have your problems with the right and how they're decimating the right. Well, we haven't got any.
There is no right. You guys have just been squeezed out of existence.
Oh, yeah.
All right. Group C, anything else?
No, we're good here.
All right, brother.
Thank you.
Nice to meet you again. And Zach, thank you for following
Awesome.
up with me on Twitter.
No problem, dude. Thanks for calling in again.
Yeah, you both have a good night now.
You too. See ya.
You too.
All right. So somebody told me not to underestimate Canada. Andy Social, don't underestimate Canada, Red Pill. I'm certainly not underestimating Canada. I mean, I'm trying to get educated on how the system works over there. I've admitted that I have a series of preconceived notions of Canada and Canadians and Canadian politics, and it's very slight, very, very slim information, because a lot of that isn't filtering here. All you're seeing is that Justin Trudeau is the savior that Canadians, deserved, or not for like Batman. That's what I'm thinking of. Not the savior we needed, but not the savior we deserved, but the savior we needed. Okay, but clearly that's not it. He's basically just A different version of Obama up there, it looks like. All right, we're taking my good friend Floyd Standifer the Fourth on the next call. Let's see. But, man, yes, there is quite a bit of information about that Canadian pig farm killer. Looks like they're tagging him as a serial killer. All right, Floyd, what's going on, friend?
Hey, brother, how you doing?
Excellent.
I'm doing great.
Excellent.
Awesome. Excellent to hear. Now, the biggest thing is like, my biggest question for your Jurgen, I'm trying to make sure I pronounce your name right.
Thanks, Floyd.
How you doing, Jurgen?
I'm doing great. Great to see you.
Outstanding. I'm doing great as well.
Excellent.
The biggest thing is like, my question for you is do you guys have a constitution that mirrors ours?
No.
No.
Constitution.
You can't get him out of office no matter what then.
No, we can't. We have to pull him out physically.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
That's our only option. It's our only option. We can't, there's nothing else we can do unless we can nail him with these scandals, but we have a corrupt police. The RCMP is corrupt to the core. When Justin Trudeau hired the new head of the RCMP, the Royal Canadian Mounted Police, Brenda Lucky, he went up and gave her a hug and kissed her on both cheeks. So we have no partisan police force. We have a government paid for police force that does the government's will.
Basically like the Gestapo.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry, man.
Yeah. Hey, listen, this is global. This is happening everywhere.
Oh, I know. And
guys,
I got to thank Red Pill and a bunch of other guys for helping me get my channel launched. But my channel, don't worry about that. But the biggest thing is there any information that I can also help get out as well through my viewers to help you guys to help Canada's situation? I mean, I'd love to do it.
Well, I'm not really sure what you can do to help. I think it's up to Canadians to do something about the situation we're in here. The only thing that I think that we take some comfort in is knowing that we have Canadian brethren who are here to help us in our battle. Because we're all in this together. Where we go one, we go all. This is
brother, you got that right. Where
right?
we go one, we go all.
Yes, sir.
But,
and so we have that consolation in knowing that you guys are down there, and when it comes to push comes to shove, we're hoping we can have the help from you guys down there.
brother, you got my name all over that. I'll help you out no matter what.
Floyd is a patriot through and through. I would say that, yeah, every single one of my viewers would have you guys' backs, 100%. That's for sure.
Excellent. Excellent. And we know that. That's the thing. We're being controlled by these politicians. Like, listen to this. When Chrystia Freeland went down there to make the trade negotiations for the new, when Donald Trump got rid of NAFTA, it was a bad deal for the United States, a bad deal for everybody. Everybody lost manufacturing. Canada, our manufacturing was wiped out, okay? We sent Chrystia Freeland down there to do the trade negotiations. She's the biographer for George Soros. You know what she did during those trade negotiations? She left one day to attend a conference slamming Donald Trump.
Oh, we can't have that.
No.
We got to expose that one.
Yeah.
Hey, Red Pill, we got to do everything we can as truthers to just go ahead and expose that kind of stuff, because it's the more people know, the better.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Canada's in trouble, guys. Canada's in big trouble. That's for sure.
All right, Floyd. Any follow-ups?
Don't have to worry much.
And please tell people where they can find your channel.
All right. My channel, it's really kind of odd. You just got to look for my ugly mug and white George Washington style wig, because that's the way you find it.
I've got YouTube pulled up here. I'll pull up. Ooh.
On YouTube?
Yeah. I'm Floyd. I'm gonna drop your link in. What is going on here? Hold on. Something weird just happened. Let me
send me Floyd's link too, okay?
Yeah.
Sorry guys. I just had my oldest stepdaughter call.
No problem.
Ciao,
Okay.
Floyd.
Let me get your channel pulled up here, and I will drop a link so you guys can check Floyd out.
Oh my goodness. Sorry guys. I really do apologize.
Oh, it's no problem.
What's up?
He's getting a call. Another call.
Oh, it's okay.
Wait, Floyd, do you have multiple channels?
I have two channels. Just my main channel, which is usually what I do for my gunsmithing,
Yes.
and then my
What
I also have my other one.
Are
my
they
due
both
diligence.
are they both Floyd Standifer the Fourth? Because I just found one that I wasn't subscribed to that I just subscribed to, but it's not the one from the other day that I just subscribed to.
No, I subscribed to my Floyd Standifer one. I
Yeah.
did subscribe to my due diligence. So
That's what it is. Due diligence.
Yeah, it's going to be real hard to find it that way because there's so
Yeah.
many different channels that are on YouTube with that.
Well, you know what you can do? You can on your the channel with your name, you can set up your other channel as like there it is. I just went to your other channel and then I get to due diligence. So I'm going to drop the due diligence channel here into the chat. There you go. You guys can follow Floyd, check his channel out, help him get up and running.
I'll be honest with you, Red Pill, I've been in just 36 hours. I've watched my videos get viewed way faster than I ever expected. I was not expecting that, and I mean, people that I work with and stuff like that, they've been watching it, they've been subscribing, they've been sending it out to everybody else. I'm humbled, honestly.
That's awesome,
But
dude.
it's not about me. It's about helping everybody else to understand what's going on. So
Yeah.
Right on.
Jurgen, if you want, I will. If I have to get censored or whatever else, I will do everything I can to help you out. Okay.
Thank you, Floyd. Thank
Sweet.
you, brother. Really appreciate it. Canadians appreciate it.
All right, Floyd, thanks for your call,
We're
bro.
in this together. Where
Thumbs
we go
up,
one,
brother.
we go all.
Where we go one, we go all.
Absolutely.
God bless, Floyd. We'll talk to you soon.
You got
God
it.
bless you.
Peace. All right, you guys. Now, I just saw somebody in the chat asking if it's normal to be waiting on me to admit you. Yes, when you initially get on the Zoom call, you're sitting there waiting in the waiting room, and then I need to admit you. I believe that Ribbit was the next caller who was in line. So Ribbit is now going to be joining us, and hopefully everything's good with their microphone. We'll get it working. So yeah, thank you guys. And seriously, if you haven't yet, go ahead and subscribe to Jurgen because, he's got a couple Elvis videos up there, but maybe you'll start putting up some content of your own. I mean, I'll tell you what, that's an excellent way to reach people all over the world. And it may be an even better way to reach people there in Canada, too, because you guys have an incredible landmass. I mean, it's far greater than the United States.
Yep.
The maps and the globes, I mean, it's a little bit distorted. So the true size of Canada is, difficult to appreciate unless maybe you're flying over it or you have to drive around, I mean, but it's a lot of space right there.
Think of this. We have 36 million people, 37 million people maybe now.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess 90% of them live within 90 miles of the American border.
Yeah, I have heard that before.
Stretched across almost 5,000 miles.
Yeah.
So it's pretty insane. It's the same population as California.
Yes, it is. Yeah.
Right?
So Chrissy said or sent a donation on PayPal and said thank you for all you do. Where we go one, we go all. So thank you, Chrissy. And Ribbit is here. Ribbit, was that you in the chat asking about waiting?
That was me. Yes.
Okay.
Can
well,
you hear me?
Perfect timing. Yeah, we can hear you. What's going on?
Oh, I just called because, I'm a French Canadian myself.
Sweet.
I'm 42 years old, so I've got a baggage behind me. Also, I'm a lesbian, so I've got the whole SJW side of me, the whole Quebecer blue blood side of me, and I lived most of my adult life in BC. So I've ran the gamut of mindsets. My first girlfriend was from Louisiana in the United States. So I also spent 2 years in the United States in Louisiana. So I also had that background of learning about the Acadians that were pushed out of Canada when the English came to Canada. The Acadians were pushed out and basically became the Cajuns down in Louisiana.
Oh, wow.
So there's a lot of history that
That's right.
connects both United States and Canada. And
That's for sure.
I've come to realize that for us here in this country, what does separate a lot of the mindsets is the language. Because if you think in French, your thought process is different than if you think in English a lot of times. And our news in French says very different things than the news in English.
Really?
And the big problem that I found is that in the West, people are more open-minded to learning French than in Quebec are open-minded to learning English, especially the older generation, my generation and up. Like I said, I'm 42 years old. My parents, my mother is from an English-speaking part of Canada, and my father is blue blood Quebecer. And I've learned in my household that the English-speaking Canadians are more willing to take crap and not let, not rock the boat. Then the French-speaking Canadians are a lot more like Americans in the way that we'll rock the boat if we feel that it's against, it goes against our best interest.
You know what's interesting is that the Western civilization, and Caucasians as a whole tend to be more likely to be accepting, to trust, to be friendly. But then the French in particular, are almost singularly, highbrow in considering their own culture to be superior to the rest of Caucasian, really, Western culture. So
we're brash, right?
Yeah,
Quebecers are brash people. And just consider the fact that whenever an American or an English-speaking person will say a cuss word, they'll say, "Pardon my French." There's a reason for that, because we're uncouth.
Yes,
and we'll tell it like it is. But the reason I'm bringing this up is not because I'm like that, right? That's part of my character. I'm Quebecer. But I like that part of my character, and I found that the people in the West like that part of my character as well. But they also like that I'm open-minded in that I will listen to their side and understand that we here in Quebec have been brainwashed to think that the rest of Canada abhors us. Like, they think of us as little children who want everything for free, this and that, all kinds of, we're racist, we're this, we're that, all kinds of stuff. And then I moved to the English part of Canada and I start listening to the English news. And it's not that at all. They talk about, in Vancouver, I was living in BC, and my girlfriend at that time was a preschool teacher. And they had special classes, special schools, French schools in BC for kids to go to school in a French-speaking environment. Most French-speaking people in those schools were Muslims or from Iran or people from those countries. My girlfriend was one of the only Quebecers there. And what they teach in those schools is the French mindset. Just like Jurgen, I'm so sorry. I didn't even say hello to you, but thank you very much for being on tonight, because
classic Quebecer.
I'm so uncouth. I'm so sorry, Jurgen, but
It's all right.
I've been looking forward to Canada being part of the discussion because it's such a big part.
What you're saying makes a lot of sense. We have had such division created by our politicians, and that's the worst aspect of our country. They have legislated division. It's not just they pitted men against women. They every kind of division you can think of, they've done to us in this country, and that's to have complete control. And like he is absolutely right. English-speaking Canada, all we've ever done is try to appease Quebec. Here, have this, have that, because we don't want you to leave the country. Here. But we've gotten to the point now where the people in the western part of this country are saying, okay, I'm sorry.
That's it. This is about equalization. When Quebec has $7 a day daycare or $10 and we got to pay $35 here, it's equalization. You get free and fertilization, and you got 3,000, 4,000 women lined up to have babies when the rest of the country has to pay tens of thousands of dollars for it. Stuff like that Quebec gets. Favoritism in this country, it starts to, after a while, seep into the general population and create this animosity that eventually is going to pour forward.
Right.
Well,
I have a question for you, though. I'm sorry, Red Pill, just quickly, because
Sure. Yeah, go ahead.
my end of Canada, in Quebec mostly, like I said, people are not English speaking or are not that fluent in English. So what I would like to do is offer some kind of a way. Well, I don't know. I would like for your ideas on how we could translate these kinds of talks or the videos that Red Pill puts out, the QAnon stuff, things like that, that we could translate specifically for Quebec, because I see translations for France and other French-speaking nations. But when we talk about Quebec as the province in the country of Canada, we only get, if you only speak French, you only get such a small little portion of what you need to know. Like, I didn't even know that Quebec was a protected class.
You're right. Well, listen,
I didn't know I was a protected class. I thought I was more protected being lesbian than I was being Quebecer. It's ridiculous.
So,
at Quebec City, when you enter Quebec City, that says, "Welcome to the nation's capital." Ottawa, nation's capital.
Thank you. I mean, there's
let
so
me ask
much
a question.
that Quebec don't know. Yes.
Now,
Go ahead.
why is it that there is subsidization into Quebec from the rest of the country? I mean, is it because there's more people there? I guess I don't know. I don't understand why that would be.
No, it's
guilt.
victimhood perception.
Yeah, it's guilt.
Victimhood
It's,
perception, just like you have your groups that elevate blacks, that elevate LG, all of that stuff.
Yeah.
Victimization.
So,
Exactly.
so this is reparations.
Yes.
yes, exactly. Yeah, yeah. It's ridiculous.
Never
Wow.
ending. Never ending. I did an interview probably about 10 years ago with Michael Corn of the Sun News Network where we talked about it. He came to a meeting in Ottawa for Canadians for Language Fairness, and he was astounded at variety of immigrants that were there at that meeting. He thought we were all just a bunch of white rednecks pushing for the English language, hated French people. No, we were a whole bunch of people that had seen hundreds of people come to us and saying we can't advance in our government job because our French isn't good enough. I've been there 20 years, but I got a kid coming out of university that's taking my supervisor job.
Yeah.
They can speak French. That's what's in our government. It's a joke. We have a Mandarin system where we get people that come into the province of Quebec from foreign countries. You need to know this. They go to Three Rivers, they go to Quebec, they go to Montreal, all the universities. In their last semester, they take them and bring them into Ottawa University, where they, after they graduate, they funnel them directly into jobs in the federal government, where people in Alberta and Saskatchewan can't get those jobs. It's a disaster. It's the French Mandarin system. It's like the Chinese system. The Chinese pull the best and their brightest, and they pull them into their government, and they leave the rest to flounder for themselves. Here in Canada, we have that same Mandarin system into our federal government, but it's through foreign countries and the province of Quebec and their own immigration system.
Wow.
Here,
It's a
here,
disaster.
brother.
Wow.
Here, here.
Ribbit, we've got 8 people on the line and 18
Please
minutes
do,
left. Do you have
please
any
do.
final thoughts?
Ribbit, thank you.
Where we go on, we go all. And I would
Yes.
say that in French as well, but my brain is totally turned on to English right now, so I can't.
No problem. I appreciate you
Red
considering
Pill,
it.
you do an amazing job, and
Thank
thank
you.
you very much.
Thank you very much. I appreciate
night.
you calling. I thank you for your perspective.
Ribbit.
Have a good night. God bless. Okay. That's awesome. All right. So my Mech 1164, Mech 1164 coming up next. Mech 1164. Very interesting. I had absolutely no idea that there was this much of a division between Quebecers and the rest of the country. That is
no idea.
It's just absolutely insane to me. They've approached things like that here in America, but I think maybe the closest we got was affirmative action, but that's gone now. Mech, you're on the line. How are you tonight?
I'm great, and thanks for taking my call here.
Of course. What's your question for Jurgen?
A little bit of everything. First off, I have friends who live in Canada, actually up by Alberta, and they're very much like you, Jurgen. They keep up with everything. They point out what's going on, especially with Trudeau and all that, and it's frustrating to hear their pleas for help. I mean, it's just crazy. I would appreciate if that Brexit does go through. That would be great. I mean, I'd love to just be able to just say, "Oh, this part of Canada is now part of the U.S." That'd be even better. We just go right to Alaska, but that's another story. You'd be a great partner anyway. What I was wondering though is, do you think? I mean, everyone talks about, we should succeed. I mean, California should, half of that should go into water, but that's a different story. But the question is, do you think it will get to that point where people finally stand up? That's more, because people say, we talk a lot. We all talk a lot. But do you think we could actually say, no, we want to do this?
There are people that are fighting hard to do it. I was just at a meeting last week of a group of citizens that are getting together, that are just touring the small towns and giving informative talks and starting to form coalitions with people, starting to form ideas on foreign policy, on how we're going to run our independent country here in the West. It's very serious. The one thing that we have going for us is that the group of people that are determined to get this done are very highly motivated. And although there isn't that many right now, I know the numbers are growing on a daily basis, and we're even getting people from the East that are going to be coming to the West to help the movement. I think it's something that is in the air. It's going to happen sooner than later, because we cannot wait for another election. This country will be destroyed. We have nothing left here. The level of corruption is beyond belief. The latest We Charity scandal just happened a couple of weeks ago, just broke. Involved $900 million. The SNC-Lavalin thing, where SNC-Lavalin was paying hookers for Gaddafi's son to come here. It was just absolutely mind-boggling. And also the Aga Khan that came here. The government of Canada gives the Aga Khan Foundation millions of dollars every year, and in return, he gave Justin Trudeau an almost $200,000 holiday a couple of years ago. So these kinds of things are it has to stop. And of course, we've just seen Justin Trudeau's name on the Jeffrey Epstein log of Lolita Express as well. So
that's right. Jurgen, what else? There was another scandal for Justin Trudeau that just came up. Didn't someone purchase him a house? No, I'm sorry. That was Gavin Newsom. My bad. So many scandals. I got to keep them straight.
Yeah, brothers.
All right. Mech, any other questions for Jurgen?
No, I'll just leave with this, though. There's an old joke about saying, how you can tell when a politician is lying? They're talking to you.
They're talking, yes.
They're talking. There you go. Thank you.
Mech, thank you for your call.
Take care.
You too.
God bless. We'll talk to you soon. All right, that's great. All right, you guys, we're going to try to get to everybody. My friend Mark is on the line. Alexandria, occasional.
Hey!
Oh,
there you go. That's me. That's me.
That's so funny. AOC, how are you? What's going on?
Oh, fantastic. Do you like that? I changed my picture.
I love it. I love it. Good job. Good job.
Well, hey, congratulations on all the success, Red Pill.
Thank you.
Just love what you've been doing. I just want to tell you any chance I can get. But anyway,
man, it means a lot.
Thanks from Canada there. And I did a lot of digs, and my sister used to live in Vancouver Island. I don't know if you remember the first rock group to get banned by the Canadian government, the Dayglows.
The Dayglows, did you hear that? The Dayglows were the first rock band to be banned in Canada. Where were they from, AOC? Is that an American group or was it?
Island. Yeah, they're from Vancouver Island. They are a
Okay.
Canadian band. I won't. They are the Dayglow Abortions, is what they're called. But
Oh, okay, okay.
not family friendly so much, but anyway. So I'd always been sort of half Canadian because I was married to through marriage to the drummer of this Canadian rock band. Went on tour with them and all that, but more recently, this week, thanks to Q, I've been digging really hard, and I think it's one of my favorite Q posts ever. And I wanted to just direct your attention to a little bit because it sort of spells out. I think "Watch the Water" is about Canada and Puget Sound, Seattle area.
Okay.
Obviously, Bill Gates, and specifically like that Mercer pen, Catherine Herridge's pen, lays right. You take one end on Bill Gates's house, and it points right to the very northern tip of Mercer Island. And I think there's quite a dig there. And Q says to follow this post for days after D class.
I remember that.
Yeah, and there's more in that post than I've ever seen in any post. It's so deep.
Wow.
I sent you a DM on it if you want more.
Perfect.
So look back there, but I wanted to, and I think it directs our attention to that area and the water in there, because don't forget, the closest thing to China is Vancouver Island, Vancouver, and Seattle. Like
Okay.
port-wise, that's
Yep.
thousands of miles closer, and probably some of the biggest trafficking. And I believe through these digs, honestly, I think that the second movie, if the first movie was Epstein Island and the whole Russian collusion et al., then the second movie is going to be that part of the world. It's going to be Seattle. It's going to be Canada. It's going to be Obama's mother.
Yep.
Went to school there, Mercer Island. Lived at the gateway of Chaz. That was the eastern side of the occupied zone was Obama's house. No mistake. But
Yeah.
those connections to China and Trudeau, I think are all part. Obviously, we just found out he was on Epstein Island, but I think that's the second part of the movie. What's your take on that? And what have you heard about trafficking in the Puget Sound, Strait of Juan de Fuca, Vancouver area? Anything?
Jurgen?
I've heard some about that. I've also heard that the trafficking goes through Saskatoon and Regina here in Saskatchewan. That possibly. So yeah, there are definite connections. I think in your 2018 elections, there was a truckload on the Trans-Canada Highway that they arrested, and that had a bunch of girls in it. Yeah, there's huge trafficking going on here, and I think that's part of the papers that were served to the U.S. Embassy on July the 1st as part of the USMCA. We're going to get...
Certainly a hub for traffic.
Yeah, no, it's bad in Canada. It's really bad. I know we have, for our small population, something like 50,000 kids a year go missing or something like that. It's just, the numbers are just outrageously bad. It's bad.
Yeah.
Crime's getting worse. The big cities are getting worse. They want to take away our hunting rifles, but guns on the streets in Toronto are okay. Everything is madness.
And so is that law that Jordan Peterson sort of made popular, I guess, to south of the border, has that law been showing up in your neck of the woods, like regarding compelled speech and all the terrible identity politics? I mean, is it showing up in your life?
Well, it's definitely here. We have hate speech laws. We have human rights tribunals where they can grab people off the street and it'll cost you all kinds of legal fees to defend yourself against some kind of perceived hate speech that they make up against you. So yeah, we have all kinds of that, and it's got a lot to do with the fact that we have a judicial system based on such a mess up, like I talked about earlier,
a British common law thrown in with a French civil code that has just made our courts a freaking nightmare. And, you know, I have someone who's done some videos here in Canada that's alleging that we have roughly 200,000 pedophile lawyers in this country. And we have God knows how many of judges that are the same ilk.
Yeah. All right, AOC, we've got
have a good one.
6 people still. Love you, brother. Appreciate your call. We'll talk to you soon.
Bye for now.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
All right, so we've got Michael Kenny next, but Michael, your microphone's not on, so I'm bringing in the next caller, and I'm asking you to get your mic on. Ricky, oh no, here he is. Oh, just in time, Michael. What's up, brother? How are you? Can you hear me? Mike? Can you hear me? He's gone. Oh, that's a bummer. Well, Michael, sorry, buddy, that didn't work out. Ricky Rico is next. Ricky Rico.
And she gone.
Yeah.
At $100 in the bank, and she gone.
Ricky, welcome to the program. Glad to have you here. Can you hear me? Getting your microphone turned on, so looks like it'll be just a second. Hi. I wonder if she's watching the stream and not watching the Zoom app. Ricky, if you can hear me, your microphone needs to be turned on in Zoom so that we can have you ask a question. I need to say thank you to Cosmic Grandpa. Thank you very much, Cosmic Grandpa. I appreciate you there. Also, Beverly. Beverly, thank you very much. I appreciate that. And that's it on PayPal. Thank you very much, guys. I appreciate it. You guys, do me a favor. If you haven't liked the show yet, we've got over 3,000 people here, just over 2,000 likes. If you are still here at the end of the broadcast and you haven't done a like yet, please consider doing that. Ricky, is your microphone not working? Okay. In the lower left-hand corner of your screen is the mute button. There's a little arrow right next to it. If you click that arrow, then it'll pop up with your microphone and your speaker. It's not working? Okay. All right. Well, bye. Thank you for calling. We'll work it out next time, hopefully. All right. See ya. It's okay. We'll be here. We'll be here every weekend. Don't worry. I'll talk to you soon. Okay, that's too bad, you guys. Make sure that your microphone is working before you call in, just so that we can get everybody in here. Let's see, who's next? We've got Great Thinker, but Great Think. Great Think, welcome to the program. Hope you're having a great evening. Hope you're enjoying the show. Just waiting on your audio to get in there, too. So, yeah, once again, 3,100 people here, 2,100 likes. Great Think. Microphone. I can never tell if people can hear me or see me. Hey, it's working. Great Think. How are you? Can you hear us? Great Think. Can you hear us? Testing. All right, we've only got one. Great Think, maybe you're listening to the audio from the stream and not the audio from the Zoom call. You got to make sure you close out the stream so that you'll get the audio for the Zoom call. Maybe he's getting that. We'll go ahead and...
Hello?
Great Think, can you hear us?
Hello?
Can you hear us? Great Think, are we live?
Good.
Okay.
I can hear you.
Okay, I'm going to ask you, what is 2 plus 2?
4.
Okay, great. We're live. Okay, sweet. So yeah,
Okay.
what's your question or comment for Jurgen?
Yeah, trying to switch between the two. Okay.
All right.
Can
we've
you
got
guys hear
audio.
me?
Yep, we got audio and video. Yeah. What's
All
your
right,
question for Jurgen?
So I grew up in Louisiana, and I just want to kind of relate some of the facts that the French are not connected when it comes to Arcadians, Creole, and everything like that. I grew up in a part of Louisiana where there is a huge population of Creole and Cajun, and even those people going into France, there's a huge disconnect. I was in the Navy, and going into Bordeaux and Paris, even the young population, especially, they're programmed, they're kind of educated to be anti-American, anti those who don't speak French. You know, in a restaurant in Bordeaux, trying to speak broken French to a young waitress, she will ostracize you, basically. So this is a thing that is not just in Canada, but it's the world over in a sense, but it's especially in France and in Canadian provinces and whatnot. So I don't really have a question per se, but I just want to reiterate the fact that this is something that is not knowledge, and it's really a shame that Americans don't have this knowledge, that we have such a division from Canada. We don't have a knowledge of what happens in Canada, and it's really sad. I mean, it happens the same thing in Mexico. You know, we don't know what happens in Mexico. We're not there. You know, and the same thing that happens throughout the rest of the world with news. We rely on the media, and in us in America, we rely on the media for our knowledge of Canada when we can talk to our brethren and our sister. So Jurgen being on tonight is, I mean, this is Red Pill. I just want to say thank you first and foremost for what you do and the people you bring on here. And I don't think you really understand the magnitude of the people that you have on the show and the knowledge and information that you're giving to the world right now. This is big stuff. That. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, this is, and kudos to you to be humble enough to say, I don't know these things, because none of us know it all. But you just happen to have an audience like myself that has experiences that can correlate with somebody like Jurgen and say, yeah, this kind of stuff is happening. I can't even put words to it. Just my head is spinning right now with how people don't understand the division that is in our world, and in North America. Yeah. You know, we think of Canada being such a close neighbor, but we don't have any clue. We really don't. It's really heartbreaking. And I really want to say thank you to Jurgen for being so passionate and being so willing to speak out and to educate. And I think I tell people all the time, I live here in Virginia Beach, and I'll say it, and I'm unashamed to say where I am in the country. And I'm blessed to be in this part of the world because we have a very good consciousness here. And I tell people, community, forget what the government's doing in DC, forget what the president, the prime ministers, it's what we do in our communities. It's what we communicate, the knowledge, the education we give to each other. This is where it happens. These kind of live streams, what you're doing, Red Pill, what Jurgen's out here doing and speaking the truth, this is where it comes together. You know, I'm literally shaking right now because this is surreal to me. I didn't expect to be on air with you tonight, and I feel honored and blessed. And I just want to say thank you. And I just want to say, where we go one, we go all. And that's not just a cliche, everyone listening. You guys have to understand that this is the most powerful moment in life right now. What we do right now will give us life in the future. And if we don't follow through with this right now, nothing else matters. It's all in vain.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. Great thing. These are not just platitudes, you know. I mean, I'm not here flying by the seat of my pants. I truly believe everything that I'm talking about on this channel, and I believe that all of the information that I try to bring to you guys has some value, whether or not you even believe the person or agree with them. There is something that you can learn. And, you know, we have been divided not only as a country into all of these various segments, but as you said, you know, on national boundaries. National boundaries are very important because we need to have our own individual culture and understanding within each of these countries, but we have to also be able to understand each other and understand what's happening in those places, because geopolitics, you can understand a lot about your own country, local, state, based upon the happenings in geopolitics and what's happening in, you know, all of these various places. So, you know, I appreciate you calling in tonight, you know, quite a bit. Do you have any final thoughts? Because we're here over the time already.
No, I just want to say, you know, what we talk about tonight, I think people need to do more research. Jurgen has really brought up some great points, and his passion is not in vain. And these are things I've known for years. I'm 39 years old. I served 11 years in the Navy. And I don't take any of my experiences lightly, especially dealing with Europe, but also dealing with South America. That's a whole nother topic, you know, and I would love to email you and I honor and respect Red Pill. Like I said, this is very surreal for me to even be on air with you tonight. And I'm just honored and grateful for you to hear me out and to be able to speak to you guys. So thank you.
Send me an email, redpill78@protonmail.com. Put Navy vet in all caps in the subject, and then I will see it. But thank you for your service. Thank you for calling, and thank you for all of the kind words, because this is my heart and soul here on a daily basis, and I'm glad that I'm able to reach people. So
absolutely
appreciate you.
Have a good night.
Yep. Have a great night. Thanks again. God bless.
You too.
God bless.
All right. Looks like Denise's microphone is not on. So, Denise, I don't know what's going on, but we're going to go ahead and put you back in the waiting room. And I want to say thank you so much to Jurgen for joining us tonight. This has been an incredible show. I'm really, really happy that it worked out, because I had some scheduling snafus in the last couple of months. You know, life happens. And I don't think that it would have been this is the best possible show that could have been here on this channel tonight. I think it's what we needed to hear, and I appreciate your passion as well, and I'm so glad that you reached out to me, because you know, I think that we're going to be friends for life now after having you on this one time. But what do you want to leave the audience with, Jurgen?
Well, I guess the last thing I'd like to say is that I want people to feel positive. I want people to know that goodness will win over the evil that is surrounding all of us. We are all in this together. We are all in the world. We are all humans. We are all one race. There are no race wars. There's only the human race. There's no black, there's no white, there's no colors in the human race. It's only humanity that we should care about. Stop letting the government, stop letting the media dictate what we do. Don't listen to them. Listen to guys like we have right here. Listen to this show. Listen to the alternative. Get away from mainstream media. But I guess the biggest thing I could say is, Canadians, from our heart, we love our American brothers. We have the same values. We believe in God. We believe in the family. We believe in the love between a man and a woman, and that there are two genders, and that God has given us this opportunity to be on this earth, to be good people. And the majority are good people. And if all of us can just get together with that and get rid of those that are in the middle, the politicians and the media, we can work all this out together, folks.
That's right. Jurgen, thank you so much for being here tonight. I really appreciate it. I want to say a special thank you to the audience as well. Thank you to all of the mods for keeping it comfy. You guys, I don't know if I say it enough, but I appreciate everything you do, helping me make this channel what it is. Thank you to Real Red Pill Girlfriend. Honey, I love you more than you could possibly know. I'm going to go ahead and walk the dogs now. Thanks again for being here, guys. Don't forget, you need to be here tomorrow night at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. My guest is going to... Oh, wow, it's August 1st now. My guest is going to be Pedro Orta. Pedro Orta was a whistleblower, a government whistleblower, and I'm not going to say the name of the agency, but let's say it's a high-ranking intelligence agency. He's going to be here tomorrow night. It's going to be a great show. So thanks again, Jurgen. I appreciate you, and good luck, everyone.